What's this one? How Snow White just became the most hated movie ever. New trailer. Okay. The most hated movie ever? It's actually kind of crazy.
Possible for the upcoming Snow White film to fall any further, but somehow Disney found a way, and with the recent release of the official trailer, the Snow White disasters got even worse. Now Snow White has been played up as one of Disney's biggest projects, and as such you'd think they go above and beyond with the marketing. However, as we all know, it's been an absolute train wreck from the beginning, ever since the main co-stars trashed on the original characters, and all during this build-up, audiences barely got a peek at the official trailer. It was all just these teasers that never really amounted to anything. Most were expecting Disney to publish the official Snow White trailer alongside the release of Wicked, as not only would it be a smart marketing move, but it made the most sense thematically. And while that's exactly what Disney did, their strategy was unconventional. The trailer and official poster were only available in a few theaters. For just over a week, promotions didn't go any further. No one could find the official new trailer anywhere. It took someone leaking a recording of it before the rest of the internet could even get a glimpse. But still, not even the leak got Disney to post the trailer on its official accounts. It was almost like the studio was desperate to keep their trailer out of the public eye. Like they were
Yeah, they didn't want to get cooked online for more Snow White hate. Like, they're trying to shove this shit onto Disney Plus without nobody noticing.
Trying to avoid ridicule for as long as possible, especially seeing how much of a disaster it had been already. Even Disney had to face the music.
But see, Disney Plus doesn't really make a movie money. You know what I'm saying? Like, not at all. Like, what makes a movie money is that box office sales. Because, like, they're making passive money just for people paying for the subscription. Unless Snow White's going to bring new subscribers to the platform, they're not going to make any money off of it. And it's like, that's a bad way to, like, go about it. Just putting shit straight. Unless you're Netflix. Because that's the reason why Netflix has, that's their whole business model. And it works. But, like, I don't think it's going to work for Disney as much. Especially Snow White. Snow White's not that, like, it's not an anticipated movie.
At some point, and on the 3rd of December they finally posted the official trailer to YouTube, and the world would quickly let the studio know exactly what they thought of it. Now at the time of making this video, the trailer currently has around 660,000 more dislikes than likes, and that number is still massively
That's
climbing.
bad. They should really let people see that without having to plug in for real the dislikes.
But remarkably, one of the only redeeming things about this entire fiasco is that Disney actually left the comments on the trailer, and it's almost more entertaining than anything Disney's put out recently. Some wonderful gems included. At this point, the monetization of the video is going to earn Disney more revenue than the movie itself, and they finally did it. They made a movie nobody is going to pirate. Those who haven't seen the trailer may wonder if it's really as bad as the comments are making out to be, and we can say with certainty that
it's probably gonna be a decent movie. Just to be honest, it's not gonna be canon at all. If you take it for face value, like it's a movie, it's probably gonna be entertaining to an extent. But like, it's not gonna capture that magic, and people have low expectations. People are gonna protest it, so it's gonna do bad.
it may be even worse. The trailer makes Snow White feel like an unholy amalgamation of all the worst aspects of modern Disney. The bad CGI, the oversaturated colours, the preachy woke actors, the character assassinations to tell a more modern story, because apparently old fairy tales can't teach valuable lessons anymore.
Yeah, I don't understand that, man. Like, if you're gonna make a live action of a classic, keep it faithful to the original work. That's the only way it's gonna work. If you start fucking changing shit up, making it more modern, like make a new movie, make a whole nother movie. It doesn't have to be Snow White. You can call it something else, but have an evil witch. Like, it's a different story. It's not the story of Snow White.
And all of this has been rolled into one massive controversial mess. It seems like the trailer is trying to tell two stories: the original Disney tale and its modernized counterpart. As a result, it all just feels very disconnected. Disney's designed the film to look like the original movie and included moments from it, but there's no room for any of it in their modern retelling. And it leaves you wondering how they plan to fit the old hag tricking Snow White into eating the apple and Snow White bravely confronting the queen in the same story. The one doesn't work with the other, unless of course they're hoping nostalgia will draw crowds and plan to swap them once they're in their seats. It just seems like nothing about any of this makes any sense. And this is all made worse by the fact that they use horrendous CGI. It feels like Disney took a scalpel to the original movie, but rather than carefully carving it into something new, it hacked away at this with reckless abandon. Every bit of animation feels oversaturated, artificial, and just lifeless. While the creatures move around and pull expressions similar to their 2D counterparts, there's just no life to them. None of the magic that Walt Disney originally thought of.
Yeah, I'm not watching this shit. I tell you that.
They're essentially just glorified plushies, and the dwarfs are even worse. Knowing the whole scandal about the dwarfs to begin with Peter Dinklage even pressuring Disney not to use dwarf actors, it was originally supposed to be 7 diverse magical dwarfs. But now seeing the huge backlash to that, their faces are an unfortunate combination of animation and hyper-realism, and the result's terrible. It's hard.
I don't know why they did hyper-realism with the animation, to be fucking honest with you. I think the hyper-realism was a bad choice. And they should have used dwarfs, because dwarfs need acting jobs. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, it's a fairy tale. It's not real life. You know what I mean? Like,
hard to believe that a studio like Disney with all its resources could have such terrible...
How many new actors could have became, like, dwarf actors that could have got shown in a good light? Like, as a good... Peter Dinklage, like, I know his character in Game of Thrones wasn't, like, built around him being a dwarf. You know what I'm saying? But still, nonetheless, he was a dwarf. And he was picked on in the show for being a fucking dwarf. And that's just how that shit works. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's, like, sorry, but, like, it wasn't done in a distasteful way. And, like, Disney wouldn't have done the dwarfs in a distasteful way. Like, come on now. Like, get a grip.
CGI. This is the same studio responsible for producing Narnia, and yet somehow even Narnia, an almost 20-year-old film with a smaller budget and less advanced technology, has better CGI. It's a real wonder how Disney went from designing a realistic lion with natural facial expressions to an over-cartoonized turtle. Knowing the amount of hate the film's already got just from the actresses alone, Disney also seems to have really abandoned the production value here. And it's not just the animals and dwarfs that feel artificial. The sets look very obviously green screened, and something about the costumes feels off.
Yeah.
They seem almost cheap and plastic, like toys designed for children rather than set pieces for a multi-million-dollar movie. The people are the only things that don't feel like they were pulled out of a cartoon. And as a result, they just look out of place. The only person who doesn't seem to look out of place in the trailer was the old hag. Now I know it's meant to be a kids movie and children may not be worried about the smaller details as much, but kids still deserve good content and so do adults. And Disney has become so reliant on CGI in the last few years that their projects just seem so lazy. You don't even have to go that far back to see how much the over-reliance on CGI has changed the complete...
It really is, like the Marvel movies, they really CGI'd the fuck out of those things, and it is deteriorating the Disney magic and quality of the films, for sure. Like, I would say, if you're going to do CGI, spend more time on the CGI and use as least as possible. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nothing wrong with using CGI. It's just the quality of CGI that is used. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to see something that's, like, straight to DVD type fucking CGI. They want multi-million-dollar studio quality CGI. You know what I mean? Like, do better.
The quality of the studio as a whole. And you know it's just this corporate soulless board at the top of the company looking to cost cut and make as much profit from this stuff as possible. I mean, you just look at the difference between Lily James's dress in Cinderella and Zegler's in the new trailer. There's absolutely no...
Rachel Zegler's dress looks like it's a Halloween costume you buy at fucking Spirit Halloween store. Like, the expensive costume, though. That's what it looks like. The $100 costume set. You know what I'm saying? The expensive one.
Contest.
That's what that looks like.
And the fact that there's barely a 10-year difference between the two films is devastating. Not even the acting can save this abomination of a film, and in some cases is actually contributing to its failure. While Rachel Zegler is currently one of the most disliked Disney actresses, due to her terrible interviews last year, her role isn't actually unearned. She can deliver the lines well, and there's no denying that she can sing. However, Gal Gadot's performance as the evil queen leaves much to be desired. The thing about Disney villains is that they're meant to be dramatic, larger than life, and very fun to watch. No matter how evil they might
Jolie, though, Maleficent's crazy.
be, you just can't help but enjoy every moment they're on screen. It's because you just know that the actors behind them were probably having the best time. They also have undeniable talent and presence. Even when hidden behind the facade of a cartoon lion, Jeremy Irons commands the room. Be Prepared is one of the most well-loved songs from The Lion King, because he and Jim Cummings put their all into the performance, which is a huge contrast to Gal Gadot, who really doesn't seem to care about this movie anymore, all while secretly hating her co-star and having no real presence for the character of the evil queen. This character is meant to be regal, cold and calculating, someone so obsessed with her own beauty that she's willing to command the death of her own stepdaughter. Someone who loses that beauty because her obsession drives her to sacrifice it just so that she can rob someone else of theirs. But there doesn't seem to be any of that obsession in Gadot's version of the evil queen. While we could chalk this up to the fact that they've changed some aspects of the story, it's mostly because of Gal Gadot's delivery. She seems more stiff and just irritated that her stepdaughter has opinions, and her obsession with her beauty has become more surface level vanity. Just based on the trailer, we can tell that Gal Gadot's evil queen orders Snow White's death, and it will probably have very little intimidation behind it. In less than 2.5 minutes, Disney seems to have destroyed the their most prized creation, the original film that started it all for Disney. And it seems like nobody on the set even cares about the film, with most of the actors seemingly hating the original.
That's where they need to scrap the film entirely. I'm sorry, just cut their losses, man. Stop trying to make this movie.
Characters.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by.
This was the worst interview Disney, and they hate it. If they could delete it off the internet, they would.
The prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
And the production crew constantly changing what's actually going to happen in the movie. Since being cast, Rachel Zegler has been one of the studio's biggest problems. She's been at the center of numerous controversies and gone out of her way to make enemies with people with much more power than her, and even her own co-star. But unfortunately for Disney, her latest scandal wasn't a spat with a more popular celebrity or even the characters like she did previously. This time, she decided she would take on more than half of her country. Now, whether you're left or right wing, it doesn't really matter here. It's all about virtue signaling Hollywood, which is why when Trump won the election recently, Zegler was not happy, but not for any normal reasons. Showing that she needed to prove to the world that she was on the right side of history, she took to her Instagram and wrote strong.
I like how they say Snow White Rachel Zegler. Like, Disney caught a stray there for no fucking reason, man. Oh my god, Disney can't catch a break with this bitch. I would drop her so fast if I was the CEO of Disney. God damn, like, you keep fucking up.
Only worded story about how disappointed and heartbroken.
Like, I would take her I would take her all the way out of the film, regardless if she earned it and could hit the notes and do all the lines and do the acting right. Like, I'm sorry, I'm finding somebody else. Like, you're fucking up. That's the only way this movie's gonna be saved, is they find somebody else.
Was over the country's decision, calling Trump a threat to democracy and finishing off her post with a wish that Trump and his supporters would never know peace. No matter which side of the political aisle you're on, this is a pretty strong statement for a mainstream actor.
Don't get me wrong, she's hot, and she got that going for her, but she's dumb. Like, she's dumb. She doesn't know how to do this whole fan service and, you know, staying in the public eye without, like, yeah. She doesn't realize she's on the opposite side of what people want. Like, she thinks she's speaking for the people, like the majority, but she's really speaking for the minority. Like, she's
not really the sort of thing you want from a woman playing a Disney princess, as more than half the country were understandably angered by Zegler's words and started calling for her to be fired, which isn't the first time that people have called for this. After this, people suspected that Disney sent her a very stern email, as Zegler quickly returned to Instagram to deliver a half-hearted apology. She explained that she let her emotions get the best of her and was committed to contributing positively towards a better tomorrow. The apology is very carefully worded, as if Disney had told her exactly what to say. However, no one else was buying it. Zegler had shown her true colors once again, and after many forced apologies, nobody was buying it anymore. But it wasn't just hurting Snow White's chances of success, it was also poking holes in Disney's paper-thin arguments over its integrity, as there's been far too many scandals to count with Disney in recent years, and we've actually made several videos in the past discussing just this alone. And Disney, seeing the backlash they've got to all their virtue signaling stuff, are now trying to reel it in, but it seems like they're losing control of all of this, which is why many suspect that Disney is once again bracing itself for a rough start in 2025. This comes after many years of disaster, as money has just been going down the drain for the company recently. Now, of course, Disney is notorious for having big budgets for its films. It dedicates thousands of hours and millions.
Yeah, if you're gonna have, like, that's a crazy set. That's a crazy movie set. Like, that's $1 million movie set right there. Like, what are you talking about? And, like, they still fuck shit up. Like, Disney's known for bringing it when they bring it. Like, they're known for, like, if a Disney movie drops, like, regardless of the age, you're probably gonna fucking watch it. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how it goes. You know? And it's like, because it's good writing,
millions of dollars
story, you know, instant classic. But, like, now it's like, it's not fun for all ages anymore. It's fun for a certain class of people or certain demographic of people, and it's like they're missing the mark completely. Like, somebody needs to get fired at Disney. Somebody needs to go because they're fucking up. Like, I don't know
projects
who's
that
making the
people
decisions
love.
there.
However,
but
it seems like as the cost of projects has gone up,
really
the
fucking
quality
up.
has also taken a nosedive, as we can quite clearly see with Snow White. According to Forbes, production costs have jumped up to $269.4 million, and that was just because of reshoots after the backlash over Disney's replacements for the dwarfs and other elements of the movie. This time the studio can only blame itself. While Disney was forced to admit they'd overspent their budget, it refused to admit defeat. A $55.5 million reimbursement from the UK government gave the studio a bit of leeway, but the cost of the film was still insane. And the crazy thing is that these
why would the UK government bail them out? Like, what are you talking about, bro?
aren't even the final number.
Like, the UK should have just like not given them that money. They wasted $55 million.
And yet by looking at the trailers and the reception to it online, it seems like this movie is going to be yet another giant train wreck for the studio. For almost 2 years now, Disney has spent so much money on reshoots, post-production and marketing.
Like, I'm so glad this era is honestly coming to an end. You know, like Trump getting elected was like, regardless of if you like Trump or not, it marks an end of an era. And that's why I'm all for Trump being president, because like it shows that people want something different. People are tired of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it shows. And I'm glad that Trump's president. You know what I'm saying? It shows that the tides are shifting. You know what I'm saying?
Marketing just for this movie. So it's safe to assume that by the time Snow White makes it onto the big screen, its total cost will be well over $300 million. Because of the drama surrounding the upcoming movie,
I don't know if he can all the way. He might fuck up, but like, regardless of what he does, he's gonna make bad calls. Obviously, everybody has, you know, faults here and there. You know, he's gonna do good things too, but like, I don't know if he's gonna save the world or set the world straight. But I know for one thing is that like, him being elected definitely shows that the people of America who voted for him are tired of this woke shit, and they're tired of all the politically correct shit, and like, people are voting with their dollars. People are voting with their reactions on content, and it shows, man. Like, people are not going to pay for this dog shit content anymore. People aren't going to listen to your dog shit takes about political opponents or political candidates or any of that bullshit, man. They're going to go they're going to go find the real truth and answer somewhere else. And whoever has that real truth and actually doing the actual real, journalism, those are the people who are actually going to come out on top. Like, the truth always wins. You know what I'm saying? Truth and compassion is always going to come out on top, man.
most doubt to even break.
Like, I'm a firm believer that good always defeats evil. I think it's a stronger feeling and emotion in people than evil is.
Even, much less profit. To put into perspective, The Little Mermaid suffered a $5 million loss, and this was despite having a lead actress that was at least likable. Meanwhile,
I definitely believe like there's way more good people than bad people in this world, and I feel like the internet has given the minority way more of a voice and a platform to speak, and they think that they're the majority. And then people sharing these posts because it's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And they think that like everybody agrees with them, and it's like it's just not the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Zegler appears to be one of the main reasons people are sworn off watching Snow White, not to mention the huge list of all the other things. With this in context, it's easy to understand why they avoided releasing the official trailer and poster for so long. Arguably, the best thing Disney can do now is accidentally lose all
the best thing they could do is just release it as is, and get whatever money they can. Or they're going to have to dump more money into the project and then lose more. Like, the best thing they could do is drop the film as is.
Footage from the
and then redo it later at a different time, like 10 years later.
project and use it as a tax write-off.
Yeah, tax write-off too, I guess, but yeah.